you will know that this video is for you if you can say, yes, that is me, to everything I'm about to go over. So 1, you're searching for a job. You're looking, you might even be like hyper focused on it, stressing out. You're feeling a lot of fear and worry because what if you can't find a job? And what if you can't find something that's going to support you financially? And this has been going on for a little while. And it just feels like all the stress keeps building and building and building. And you're done. You are so done with looking for work in this way. You know there's got to be a better way. This is not how you're supposed to find your dream job, the thing that is going to be better than the current circumstance that you are in, but you don't know how to do it. You don't know the steps to take to find that perfect job and not be in all of this stress and worry and hyper focused tunnel vision. If this is you, you're in the right spot. This video is for you because I'm going to share with you my 4-step process to 1, come out of that survival mode. We have to come out of survival mode in order to create. And so we're going to come out of survival mode. I'm going to go through a technique that's going to help you regulate your nervous system. We're going to go from that sympathetic fight or flight stress mode situation that you've been stuck in, and we're going to go down into the parasympathetic nervous system, where it's all about rest and digest. You're going to feel calm, and once you feel calm and the blood is going back to all of your organs instead of just that fight or flight stage, then we are going to go into the 2nd step, which is going to get you very clear. And you may have not done this step yet. You may have, but there's something about this step that a lot of people don't do. So that's going to be the 2nd step. I'm going to grab my puppy because she likes to make an appearance. Then the 3rd step, we are going to hack our brain in a way. We are going to take advantage of what naturally happens as we're falling asleep, as our brain waves go into theta. We are going to utilize that time and get very clear and specific on how we're going to utilize that time to better serve how we're going to find that job. And it's not really us finding the job. It's when we go through these 4 steps, the job literally might just show up at your door. So once we do that, we're going to go into the 4th step. Now, the 4th step is something that I want you to do daily, but it only takes 5 minutes. So if you're serious about finding that dream job, stay until the end, because this 4th step has blown my mind. It's something that I recently found literally like a couple weeks ago. And I have had success with this multiple times in crazy ways. And I will share with you my experience so that you might feel a little better about like, okay, this actually works. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first step is we need to get out of survival mode. We are not able to create in survival mode. When we are in the fear and stress response and all of the blood is going to our limbs, we cannot digest our food. We are hyper focused on, hyper fixated and focused on something, but it shuts off our creative mode. We are not in a space where we can create. And since we are the creators of what is going on around us, we need to be in this creative space in order to really get clear and creative and like draw in what we are wanting. So I'm going to walk you through a little havening technique, along with some breath work that is going to get us out of sympathetic and get us into parasympathetic so we can feel calm and relaxed. So let's start. So here we're going to use the havening technique. Now what the havening technique is, there are a few different ways that you can do this. It's gently touching and rubbing the insides of your hands, This is one way that you can do it. If you're wearing a tank top or t-shirt, I really highly suggest being able to feel your skin on skin. You're going to take your opposite hands, go to opposite shoulders, and just rub the outsides of your shoulders. And we're going to do this the entire time that we go through this exercise. You can also touch your face. I've never used this one before. To me, it kind of distracts me. But you can use the hands, you can use the arms, if the face feels good. Okay, we're going to just be gently touching these areas because this actually signals something very instinct. It's from basically from childhood. When a child is being caressed and held by its mother, it helps mimic this and it will calm your nervous system down. And I'm going to invite you to start doing that right now. And we're going to take 3 or 4 deep breaths in. We're going to do a count of 4. Inhale through your nose. And then out through either your mouth or your nose for a count of 6. And just become very aware of how your breath, how far down your breath is going. We want to really deep breathe into our belly. So as you're inhaling through your nose, you want your belly to expand. Try to get that air as far down into your belly as you can for a count of 4. And out for a count of 6. And now do that a couple more times. And I'm walking you through here, but I'm going to go a little bit fast so that we can get through all the steps. And then you can just do this on your own later. But as you're doing this, after you take 3 to 4 breaths, I want you to visualize your safe place, a place that you absolutely love. And whenever you go there, you feel like everything in your body can just relax. That could be maybe the beach for some people. Do you like to go hiking when you're surrounded by trees in the woods? It could even be your grandma's house. Like where is your happy place? Where is a place that just makes you feel like you can relax and everything can just melt away? I want you to visualize yourself walking through this area. Keep breathing. You don't have to do the deep breaths right now, but just become aware of your breath and just visualize yourself walking in this beautiful place and really, really feel into the sensations of what does this place bring you? What kind of peace? Does your body feel like it can just sink and relax? You're not tense. Like feel into how good this place makes you feel. And just visualize yourself walking through here right now while doing the Havening touch. And then once you reach a point where you're like, okay, I feel good, I feel calm, my nervous system feels more relaxed, I'm not hyper-focused or fixated, my brain isn't going crazy. Then what I want you to do is this is the second step. The step 2 is we're going to get very clear on what we want to draw into our life. Now, I would love for you to grab a paper. Writing things down is so important. Like the act of writing things down, we don't call it spelling for no reason. We are literally putting spells out to the universe when we write stuff down. So grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper, and I want you to list out, okay, in this new job that you are now drawing to you, what are the necessary needs? What do you need in a job? Get very specific. If it's figure out how much money you need to make. What is your salary here? What kind of work environment do you need? What kind of commute do you need? What kind of boss interaction? What kind of coworkers do you need? Write down all of the necessities, all of the needs, all of the things that when you've been job searching, you are looking for very specific things in order to apply for that job. Maybe you even got to the point where you're applying for everything, but that's not what we want. We don't want just anything. We want to get specific on our needs. So write all of those down. And then when we're done with our needs, I want you to visualize the dream environment, the dream position, the dream boss coworker interaction. What are the wants? What are your wants? What would you want this new job to be like? Get really, really creative here. Like maybe you've never had a job that truly appreciated you. Maybe you've never had a job where your boss comes up to you every now and then and is like, hey, you're amazing. I just want to say I'm so grateful that you're working for us. Maybe you've never had a company that actually sees your work ethic and automatically comes to you and gives you raises. This was a huge one for me. When I did this, when I moved to New York, I was trying to stay out of survival mode for the first time ever in my life. Like I lived most of my life in survival mode. And I moved to New York when I was, how old was I? 37? I've been here for 4 years. And up to age 37, I had never really had the luxury of having a lot of time to find work. My life was a series of, oh, okay, something crazy happened, out of my control, completely out of my control. Now I need to move here. Okay, now that I moved here, oh, now I need a job, like ASAP. And my savings account was never large enough to give me a cushion where I could feel safe and relaxed while I was doing this. It was more like, oh my God, okay, I need to find work. I need to hustle. I need to find something fast. And it was also always a matter of during that time when I was super crazy applying for everything, like applying for jobs became my job, but also I made jewelry. And so I would hustle and go sell my jewelry. I would literally go sit in my car. I would look up every single boutique near me, and then I would start calling every single boutique, and I would just cold call everybody until somebody said, yes, we do buy from handmade artists. I would love to see your jewelry. Come in. I would set up a meeting, and then I would go in, and I was very fortunate that in this survival hustle mode, when I would go in, when I would get that yes, and I would go in and I would show them my whole lot, they would literally buy everything that I had. There was only ever one time that the woman was like, I don't think that your style fits in with my boutique. And I agreed with that. It made sense. I had never gone to her boutique before. I was cold calling her. But I did this multiple times because every time life was like, okay, you're going to move here now. You can't be here anymore. We're going to push you out of this. We're going to send you here. It felt chaotic when I was in survival mode. So when I moved to New York and I realized I cannot sell my soul for money. I'm a creative. I am an artist. I am very different. I'm an INFP. I'm also a manifesting generator. I'm a 4/6 profile in human design. If you know anything about that and maybe you relate to that, it was crazy. And so for the first time, I was like, I cannot be in survival mode when I'm trying to find a new job here. One, I'm in New York. It is very expensive to live here. Two, it doesn't feel good in my body anymore. Like I was done. Like I was done hustling. I was done being in that survival mode because it was damaging. It was very detrimental to my health. It was detrimental to my mental health, my physical health. I reached that point. I'm like, no more. I'm done. And so while trying to stay out of survival mode, using breath techniques, really trying to calm myself down, being my own cheerleader, in my head, I realized I was like, well, what do I really want? Because I never had that luxury before. Before, I felt like I just had to find something, anything, and it didn't feel right anymore to do it that way. So I made my list. What do I want? From the previous job I was at, there were some things I really enjoyed about that. There were some things I really hated about it. So I got very clear on what I need. And then what I did was I was like, well, what if there was a job that was even better than just what I need? What if I could get some wants in there? So get creative. Like, I want a boss that sees my worth, that sees my work ethic. I always go 200% in on anything I do. And I'm never compensated fairly for that in my past. So I was like, I want a boss that sees that and acknowledges it and compensates me for it. I want a work environment that feels good. I want to be able to relax. I want my nervous system to be able to relax while I'm at work. I'm a highly sensitive empath, and I feel people. I feel the energy. I walk into a room and I know exactly what mood everybody's in. They don't have to say anything. That is who I am. So I have to have a work environment that is relaxing, that my nervous system can be like, oh, okay, these people are cool. They're safe. We can do this. So get really clear on what that is for you. Maybe you're an empath and you need that as well. Figure out all of the dreamy wants. Like, if you could envision your dream job, the one that you don't mind waking up to go to in the morning, the one that your commute is just beautiful. Because what happened to me, and I'm going to just briefly share this, then we'll go into step 3, is when I created this list, I not only found a job, and this job came, it was like, I didn't have to search for this. So I one day was like, you know what? I haven't been on LinkedIn for a while. I never used to use LinkedIn for job searching. It was like a new thing to me. Like, I would just go on Indeed or, all those and just like pump out my resume and applications. But I was like, you know what? Let me get into LinkedIn a little bit more. So I went in, I revamped my LinkedIn profile. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I didn't know at that time that I could search for jobs in LinkedIn. I just thought it was kind of like a networking kind of thing. So then I was like, oh, cool. So one of the first things that popped up when I was like, wow, I can job search on here. There was a job for this amazing company, Gray Bandit, and they just, they listed out the job description. I was like, okay, it's another warehouse position, slightly different from, before I was in coffee roasting. This is clothing. So I was like, okay, it's going to be kind of different. But it's, I feel like I qualify for it. But at the very end of the job listing, they put good vibes only. And I believe they had a little heart at the end of that. And that's what got me to apply for that job. Because I was like, oh, really? A company that is like, they need you to be like good vibes, good vibrations. Like, that's what they value in their company. I was like, hey, yeah, sign me up. So I applied. I got an interview. And then this job blew my fucking mind. Sorry for the cussing, but definitely worth it here, okay? So not only did it have every single thing that I needed, it had every single thing that I wanted. And then on top of it, there were all these cherries on top that I was just like, what? Like, when I started working there, they literally bought us lunch once a week because they were doing photo shoots in the office. And so they just bought everybody lunch once a week. And then I found out that they have this donation bin of clothing that they can't sell, and they donate it to places that will not resell it because they really want the clothing to go to people in need. Now, I moved to New York with 4 suitcases, and one of them was for this little girl here. I got rid of probably 90%, maybe even 95% of everything that I owned. Literally, I shoved everything into a storage unit, but before I got this job, I went back to California and I got rid of and donated and like sold everything that I owned. So when I got to New York, when I was about to go into this job, we were coming up on winter. It was, we were getting very close to winter. I did not have many winter clothes. I came from California, and I was in desperate need of clothes. And I didn't really understand just how desperately I needed it until this job was like, yeah, everything in this bin here, like, feel free to take whatever you want. And I was like, wow, they supplied all my sweaters, sweatpants. Like, there was some random stuff in there that I can't even, like, it came from a vendor. They're like, oh, want to sell this? We weren't selling it. I got socks. It was amazing. Anyway, okay. And I could go on and on and on because this company saw my worth. They saw my work ethic, and they were the ones coming to me, giving me raises. Okay. So I was finally paid. I was paid well. I could live in New York. I could live in New York off of what they were paying me. And I was like, yes, so many yeses. I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe I found this. I can't believe I found this. But it was me staying out of survival mode. It was me getting very clear on what I need and what I want. Prioritize yourself. Okay, it can really feel heavy when you are job searching, especially in what's going on right now. We are towards the end of 2025, and I get it. It's daunting. However, when you get clear on what you need and want, and you are prioritizing yourself, you are sending out a different signal to the universe saying, I matter. I matter. I don't need to hustle and stay in survival mode. I don't need to get scraps. No. I matter. My needs and wants matter. And that's what's going to come to me. Okay, so enough about that. So get your list. I want you to feel into these things too. Like, feel into, like, okay, go throughout your day in your mind. If you can't figure out any, like, wants because you've never been in this situation before of being able to be, like, picky and be like, yeah, I want this. I want this. I don't even know if this job exists, but yeah, I want that in my job. If you've never been in this situation before, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to visualize your ideal day when you wake up in the morning. How do you feel? How do you feel in the morning when you wake up and you're going to an amazing job? You're going to a place where you feel like appreciated and all of the things that you need in a job. I want you to walk through that and just write it out. Write out what your ideal day looks like. Those could be your wants, okay? Your wants are going to be in there. Okay, step 3, we are now going to utilize our brainwave state. So if you're not familiar with the different brainwave states that your brain goes into, as you are falling asleep at night, your brainwaves slow down. So you're slowing down, you're going into like alpha, then theta. Theta is a brainwave state. I believe theta is around 4 to 8 hertz. I believe it's 4 to 8 hertz. And when your brainwaves slow down into this state, your subconscious opens wide up. Theta is when your brain is like a sponge. Okay, theta is the brainwave state that you are constantly in when you are young, once you're like, from age, I don't know if it starts before age 1 or when you're born, but up until age like 5 or 7, I've heard both of those. Basically, you are an observer. You are not logically thinking. You don't have logical thinking because this is all new to you, right? You're taking everything in. Your subconscious is creating belief systems based on what you are experiencing, what you are seeing, what you are feeling. This becomes your programming. Your initial programming is set when you are very young. So this is also why if you are born into poverty, if you are born into wealth, your children are naturally going to have a different programming based on that. Because if you were born into a household where there was a lot of fear and worry around money, and there was a lot of tense energy around money, you're going to create belief systems that either money is stressful, money is hard to make, there's not enough money, whatever that is. If you're born into wealth, money's not a problem. Money's always there for you, right? Like, you don't need to stress about money. It's always there. And it's always there and it's abundant. So you're going to have a different programming around that. So when we utilize this theta state to our advantage, what we can do. So what I would love for you to try to do, sorry, I have some allergies going on right now. Okay. So utilizing the theta state. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about things that you've maybe never experienced before. Like if you want to find a job. So instead of using affirmations of like it's easy to find a job. It's so easy for me to find a job. Those things, if you haven't had that experience in the past, your subconscious is going to be like, well, no, that's not true. It's not true. Okay, so, but your subconscious loves questions. So we are going to create a list of questions for your subconscious to start thinking about. And we're going to voice record this, and then we are going to play this either on a loop, or you can use some free audio editing software like Audacity to, like, if you have a set of questions, you can like replicate that and copy and paste that so that you have like an hour-long audio for yourself. Okay, so what kind of questions do we want to ask here? So if it's been very hard for you to find a job lately, I want you to do something like, and start your questions with how come, why is it that, those are two really good ones to start with. So let's go, how come it is so easy for me to find so many amazing jobs? Why is it that I keep finding so many ideal jobs? Something like that. But get really, you can get into little details too. So write out what, take your list. What's on your want list? What's on your need list? Create questions that your brain is going to start like being like, oh, why is it that? Because then what's going to happen is your reticular activating system in your brain is there to find evidence of the things that you believe, right? So it's kind of like if you've ever experienced, like, let's say you found a product, like let's say you decided that you wanted to buy a new phone, and you started really researching it and thinking about it and trying to find the best price for it. You're really into thinking about this thing. And up until that point, you've never really saw anybody else that had it. But now that you're wanting to buy one, now you're seeing it everywhere. That's your reticular activating system. Okay, so what's going to happen is, while you're doing these, how come it is so easy for me to do this? It's basically an affirmation, but it's like asking the question of, why is it so easy for this to happen? Your reticular activating system is going to go, oh, we need to find evidence of that. So then it's going to start showing you evidence of the things that you are now introducing to your subconscious. Okay, that's kind of like a brief overview. I'm not going to go into like neuroscience and stuff, but that's how you can kind of understand the reticular activating system. So voice record. It is so much more powerful when you are listening to your own voice saying these things, because you recognize your own voice, right? So audio voice, do use a voice recorder on your phone and sit there and it doesn't need to be like perfect, whatever. Just record yourself asking these questions. And then after you've asked those questions, you could either, if you're okay with just sitting there and for an hour and asking those questions, or you can use Audacity, and I'll put a link in the description where you can download it for free. It's open source. It's totally free to use. It's what I use to edit my meditations and all that kind of stuff. And if you're new to it, there are so many tutorials on YouTube on how to easily use it. But all we're going to do is, what you want to look up how to remove background noise, if there's a lot of background noise. If there's not a lot of background noise, it really doesn't matter. How to remove background noise, and then also how to copy and paste. And so you can create the length of audio that you want, then you just export it, and then boom, you save it to wherever you need to save it to, and then play this while you're falling asleep at night, so that when your brain is naturally going into the theta state, these questions are going and getting introduced to your subconscious so that your reticular activating system can get on point. It can help you there, okay? So that's how we can hack and use our theta brainwave state. Now, step 4, this one is so fun because I discovered this just a couple weeks ago, and it was before an event that I did where I was selling my stuff. And so what it is we are going to try to spend about 5 minutes. I can't only spend 5 minutes. I've found that when I start going into this, I get lost, and I write out like for 15 or 20 minutes, but you don't need to do it that long. What we're going to do is we are going to create memories in our brain. We're going to create memories that haven't physically happened yet, but our brain does not know the difference between a real memory of something that really happened and imagination. It doesn't know the difference. And so we're going to use that to our advantage as well. So get a journal. I like having just like a little notebook that's dedicated to this. So that I can go back to, and like, a week from now or whatever, I'll go back and see what I wrote down and like see what happened. So we are going to journal, but we are going to journal about stuff that we want to have happen. We're going to journal in the past tense as if it's already happened. So what does that look like? So for example, let's say for me, okay, so I used this for my event that I did. So it was coming up, it was in the future, but I was journaling how grateful I was. I was like, I'm still in shock that I sold X amount at the event. I had so many wonderful conversations with people, and there were so many new opportunities that came up at this event. I am so happy and grateful for this. Thank you for all of this having had happened, right? So you want to write in the past tense as if something's already happened. So for your job, so what you could do is you could say something to the effect of, I am so excited that I got an interview for this one company that I have been dreaming of working for. And, just go into detail of how you want that interview to go. How does that interview feel? What questions did they ask you? And how easy was it to like just light up and like, just go into, write out what you want to have happen, write it out in past tense as if it's already happened. When you start doing this, one, it's going to help you get into the feeling of already having it. That is how we create feeling what it is that we want, but feeling like it's already happened. Feel into that. So it's going to help us feel into the feeling of already having it. And once we've felt like like it's already ours, that's how things come to us. That's how we magnetize things to us. We have to feel like it's already ours. If it's ours, it will appear. Essentially, this has happened so many times in my life when I'm manifesting things. I would go into like a guided meditation where I was visualizing myself in the thing, already having had the thing, and going about my day how I wanted it to be. But what I've found is that those meditations would take me several minutes. It would take me a while, to like 15 minutes, for me to really sink into that feeling of already having it. Whereas when I started journaling as if it's already happened, it was instant. It was like an instantaneous transport to, oh wow, I already have this. This already happened. It's amazing. Like I just do that now. I don't do that meditation anymore because that meditation was like a half hour long. And this is like a 5 to 10 minute thing. I mean, I spend more time because it feels good and I want to keep going. But you can spend just 5 minutes doing this. And what this does, when you write out something in past tense as if it's already happened, that literally on a neurological level, it's creating a memory in your brain. Your brain interprets that as a memory. How cool is that? We can just create our own memories, and then things come to us so much faster. So my experience with my event, well, the first time I ever did this, and I'll try to keep this brief because this is the last step. So what my first experience with this was, I decided, and this is something you might want to also put in there because it's really fun to do this. And oh my God, I've gotten so many random gifts after I started doing this. So the first morning I did this, I never look at my phone before. Okay. Ooh, she likes to lick my hands. I never look at my phone in the morning when I'm first waking up. I give myself a decent amount of time to wake up before I touch my phone. So what I do is, what I did was I started writing it out. It was the first morning when I had heard about doing this. So I was like, I'm going to do this. So I start writing it out, and I decided to add in there, thank you so much for that surprise gift that you gave me yesterday. I was not expecting it, but oh my God, thank you so much for that surprise gift. Because what does that do? That creates a memory of like, whoa, we just got gifted something. It's a surprise. We don't know what it is, but it was something amazing. So I put that in there. After I was done journaling, I put that away. And then when I picked up my phone, I literally had a text message from my sister going, oh, hey, I got you this thing that I really, really love. She's like, I got you some of these. I'm like, what? A surprise gift? That was really freaking fast. So that was really fast. That was like, it kind of shocked me into, I'm going to keep doing this, right? Like, I don't, if it was related, if it wasn't related, whatever it was freaky and it was cool. And I was like, I'm going to keep adding in, thank you for that surprise gift. And not only did I get that first gift, I also was in line at Starbucks 2 days later, and I was with my sister. I was going to treat her to coffee because she was on a work call. And so I ordered our coffee, got up to the window. Wow, the person in front of me bought our coffee. Like, we got gifted coffee that day. And then later I ended up getting gifted a meal. Somebody paid for my meal. And then what else did I get? It was so creepy. It was like, in such a good way. I just kept randomly getting all these little gifts. And then recently, I was thinking to myself, like, my bed is really hard. I've had it for about 3 years now, 4 years now. And like, I realized that like, I like to sleep on my side, and my hips kind of hurt now in the morning or just through the night when I'm tossing and turning. So I remember thinking to myself, maybe I could get like a little memory foam thing for my bed or whatever. It was a brief thought. And then, but I kept putting in, thank you for my free gifts. Thank you for my free gifts. Every morning I do this. And then I went over to my best friend's house. We were having dinner together. We were talking. And then all of a sudden he was like, I brought up like how my hips hurt when I'm sleeping and stuff. And he's like, oh, hey, do you want this memory foam mattress, this memory foam thing for your bed? It's like this 3-inch thick, amazing memory foam. And I was like, really? Like, he was essentially like trying to get rid of it, thinking about throwing it out. And then it was just gifted to me. So I'm like, now my bed is so comfy. Oh my God, I sleep so good now. So like, definitely add in, thank you for my free gift. But it is amazing how this works. And the neuroscience behind it is also amazing. So comment down below, what is one want that you want in a job? Like, what is that one big thing that you're like, I've never had this, but I really want that in a job? Like, comment down below, what is one of your biggest wants? And then try to do this 4-step process. Whenever you notice you're going back into survival mode, come back to the having technique, come back to the calm breathing, come back to visualizing your safe place, the place that makes you feel good, and get back into that, get back into your parasympathetic nervous system, and then utilize these other things throughout your day. And you might be amazed at how quickly and how stress-free finding that job ends up being. So thank you for being here today. I would love to hear from you. If you've ever used any of these things, definitely like comment below. Let's start a conversation around what we want in the work that we do, because we spend a lot of our time working for other people. Like, 40 hours a week, we're giving them our best hours of most of our days of the week, if you think about that. So I'm like, we need a good work environment. We need all the things that we want in a job. So comment down below. Let's get a thread going. Missy's excited for you as well. And I will see you on the next video.